Record. Here you go. So welcome everybody. Today we will talk about Agile, and we will talk about Agile from an organization point of view. So I won't get into the details of the different frameworks. We won't get to technicalities. I will try to use as less jargon as possible, and we will stay still on the higher level. We have only 1 hour, so I want to get through my part in 40 minutes to give then times to you to ask questions. If in between you have questions, or if you want simply to say something, just go in the chat, write it, I can see it, and I will answer, I will bounce back on it. A bit to myself, I think you all got already infos through Manu. So I'm an Agile coach working for the company Xetaso. In Germany, we are digitalization partners, and here you can see a list of the different certificates I got. So I got 2 Scrum Master, one that is like Scaled Scrum, and the other one I got very early is Pokemon Master. I was very proud of this one. Anyway, let's get started, and I will answer, we will try to answer this question. What the fuck is Agile? Yeah, that's a term that we see nowadays everywhere. It's used for many different reasons, and we will try to understand here what we are talking about when we say Agile. I just want to go through here very quickly. There is different parts of Agile. One of the parts that people know maybe the most, this is the product development part. And you will have stuff like Scrum in it, Lean, DevOps, that is very important in the software world. And basically here you have a lot of practices that you can check or not. But basically that's everything on the product development. Then you have the business side. And here you have a different kind of things. You have things like the Lean Startup, you have things like reinventing organization, tribal leadership. So a lot of work about how do you define your product, how do you want to continue to improve, and how do you want to lead people. But basically, like I think everybody can feel it, this is a lot. Yeah. So this term Agile is very, very broad, and we will try to go maybe in a better definition together. And so the first question I have is why Agile is so difficult to define? I mean, we have stuff like waterfall, that is project management. That's quite easy to define. Everybody can understand. You go through steps, you do one after the other, you do project, you do charts. There is a lot of practices, but anyways, this is quite easy to wrap your hands around it. And here there is a small cartoon that I really like, where you see like a classical organization, and you have the small red here part. I hope you can see it correctly. And then the two characters are very happy to say, yeah, this is our little thingy, it's an Agile project, and now it means the whole organization is Agile. And I think it shows very funnily, in a funny way, how hard it is sometimes to wrap your head about Agile. So is Agile a project management framework or anything? It's very hard to say. One thing that we can take is this chart. And they ask a lot of different organizations that were going through an Agile transformation. Okay, what's the main cause of failure? Why did you fail? Why you didn't succeed? And you have here the top one, which is philosophy or culture. So there is a mindset or culture fit that is not right between the classical and the Agile way of thinking. So when you see that, you can start to say, okay, is Agile a culture? Is it a philosophy? Is it a cult? Yeah, religion? You have stuff like methods as well. So yeah, it does not bring us closer to a real definition of what Agile is. But here, maybe there is something that we can do to go a bit deeper. Let's go here for a moment. So if we say, okay, the main cause of failing Agile is culture, then we could assume that Agile is a culture. It's a cultural thing. And it could explain why we are seeing so many failure in an Agile transition, because there is an inertia to change, to culture change. Yeah, you are in your comfort zone. Everybody know your processes, the way you do stuff. And you want to evolve your culture because you want to be modern, because you read a good blog article on LinkedIn and you say, okay, let's try this Agile thingy. And then you try to bring this new culture. The problem here is that culture is a very hard thing to work on, and that your organization is more likely to fall back on their own, on the way they do stuff. So that's, when you go in a lot of different organizations, try to drive a transformation, Agile or anyway, this is one of the main part where you can fail, is that your change is not consequent, is not happening until the end. So what do you do in that case? Yeah. A lot of people thought about it and discovered that if you want to change the culture of an organization, you have to work on the structure. And that's a very interesting thing, because culture is very hard to define and it's very hard to work on. And if you can change the structure of the organization, so the way you do things, then you will automatically change the culture. And that was demonstrated empirically in a lot of transition, in Agile and Scaled Scrum transition. And yeah, thank you, Carlos. I'm trying to click at the admit button at the same time. So basically, you have to change the structure of the organization to change the culture. I'll take one very quick example, but basically, if you have two departments, what that is doing, let's say development, hardware development, software development, whatever, and you have another department that is testing, that is that's doing the verification on that product, then you will have a lot of things like handovers, you will have a lot of things like meetings, you will have a lot of delays, you will need someone sitting on top of these two silos to coordinate their activities. You will have resource management, all the things we know, and that's basically the way it is. And you cannot just go to the people and say, hey guys, you're working in silos, but you from department development, you have to talk better with people from the test department, because they are not pushed to do it. They have their structure, they have their mindset, and the mindset is derived from the structure. So you could try new things. You could try, Alvaro, I will do it in a second. And there is more people coming in. That's amazing. So you want to change the culture by changing the structure. And that's a very important part of it. So you could maybe bring the two departments together. That's what we do, for example, in the DevOps movements, that we bring development and operation together, so that you no longer have these handovers, you no longer have all the need for the coordination, you don't have the need for manager, you can save money, like there is a lot of benefits. So you have to go to the culture to change, to the structure to change the culture. So, small wrap up for the people that just joined. We are trying to define Agile. And we've seen that the main leading cause of failed Agile project is a mindset. So we ask a question, okay, is Agile a culture? Is it a mindset? Hard to say. And then we've seen that actually culture is derived from structure. So then the question is Agile a structure? And I could say yes, more or less. it's a structure, but what is a structure? What is an organization? It's a set of different components that come together and align towards a defined goal. And when we are talking about organization, work organization, you will have stuff like the methods you are using, the tools, the leadership. What kind of leadership are you using? What are your HR policies, your way you're communicating? How do you split the strategic alignments through your people? How the organization is structured? How many layers do you have? Do you have business units? Do you have divisions? Like all these kind of things. And all these elements are what define your structure. And all these elements are part of the structure. So I think that's where the difficulty from defining Agile is coming from. Because if you want to move to Agile, you will have to change all these components. You will have to change the way you are doing leadership. You will have to change the way you do the organization structure, the HR policies, and so on. And here, I have a question for you. We will do a bit more interactive. If you want to answer, just unmute. If you don't want to unmute, just put it in the chat. And my question is, I will show you a set of cars, of vehicles, and those vehicles were designed in a way to optimize one aspect of them. And yes, you will have just to write which one. So first one we'll try with a truck. What was the truck designed to maximize? Range, cargo, payload. I'll write all of them here. Range, payload, cargo, consumption. Okay. Price, so cargo price. Okay, you get the idea. So if, like, let's say here we have 3 elements and we will keep them. Let's say the truck is designed to maximize the amount of things you can carry from A to B. Then you will have other matters like, okay, how can we put it together in order to carry the most, because we are paying for it at the end. But let's say we maximize payload. Then the next one. What was in the head of the designer when they designed this car, and when they say, hey, we'll do a car to maximize an element? Parking. Yes. Parking, time to park. Yes. That's it. Readability. It's hard to write, it's hard to read as well. Italian sizes, maybe, yes. But okay, let's say parking. It was maximized to ease the parking. Now this one. Speed, fun. Performance. Status, yes. Time you go to the garage, yes. Price, price of the after sales market. Sakes, yes. Aeronautic term. Resistance to wind. Exactly. So you start to see, okay, we are using different words, but basically the concept is, I'll only pick one, like performance. Yeah. This one, that's the last one. Yeah, media coverage, hype, media, we got it. Yes, this is a car. It's a truck. Sustainability. So exactly, I think we are getting to there. So thank you for your help in here. And the point I wanted to convey is that when you design an object, it serves a purpose, and you want to maximize the impact you have on this purpose as much as you can. So they try to do the smart as small as possible because their point was to maximize the parking. So is to park. A Ferrari will always put more money to increase the performance or the fun or the speed. They will not start to put more space in the boot to maximize the payload. Here's the hype and media coverage. Yeah, they will not start to design it boring because that's not what they're after. Very clearly. Now let's move to another topic. And maybe you will see here where I'm trying to get to. Those organizations, they were as well designed and optimized towards one aspect. The same as the cars. Lidl, not for the hype. I think that's clear. But let's try. If you can give me like some aspect towards Lidl. So price value, logistic, capacity, always available, customer hour. So let's keep it to the price. I think everything that you're throwing at me, this is actually going toward the price. So Lidl is designed, and every aspect of the shop is designed to reduce the price for the customer. Now this one, it's also a shop. They could be selling the same things. What is this one designed for? Exclusivity. I cannot read. I have to change color. Desire. Customer experience. Luxury. Exactly. I think this is pretty clear. So here's a point that is actually quite interesting, is that we have two organizations that are doing the same activity. They are selling objects to customers that are designed, and I really say design, every aspect of them were done on purpose to maximize an aspect of their activity. And we can go on like that. For example, this one above was optimized for customer retain, let's say, security. Yeah, that's a jail. I try to write it better. Security, I will write it. And the one above, below, sorry. Can you try it? Silence. Calm. Exactly. We don't have to go further than that. But the interesting part is they are both agile. That's in the US and that's in Norway. So they want to achieve the same thing, like Lidl and Louis Vuitton. And they are doing it through very, very different ways. One is doing it by ensuring security and making sure nobody goes out, and the other one by trying to make the people, the in jail, better person so that then they can be released. Here I will go through, but basically you can compare two organizations and ask, okay, what are they optimized for? But you can also see it in, within an organization. If I take, for example, Microsoft in the 90s, they were a monopolistic monster. They were optimized for profits, for efficiency. They only wanted cash. They still want cash. But nowadays, they are more about customer journey. Yeah, it's more about us, just like you. They do a lot of advertisements. They design the surface product. They are trying to have products to engage. So they change the way they are designed. They change their structure in order to change their culture. Now let's go back and a bit in the topic. And we could ask ourselves, okay, what is Agile? Is it a software development method? Not really. Is it a project management? I don't know. Is it a culture, a mindset? Not clear. Is it a structure? Is it a system? We are still not there. Yeah? We're still having problems to really put our hand on what is Agile. And here I have a small thing. It's in German, but I will translate it for you. No problem. And they basically theorize that there is 3 waves of management we've been through. And the first one is it's before industrialization. And in this case, what we had is a lot of hand workers. So it was people having their shop, doing a lot of things by themselves, and trying to sell them to their local market. In this kind of setup, the goal was to build the best product possible so that the people around you could basically buy it to yourself. Then we moved to this 2.0. And what's happening there is an industrial revolution, where a lot of people started to mass produce items. We're trying to optimize the way we work. And the goal here was no longer to build the best product. The goal here was efficiency. We were using not people, not handworks. We were using resources that we can swap, that we can split. We tried to minimize the price, reduce the cost, maximize the price. And for a long while, it worked. It was very efficient. And I think I'm telling the words that come from this area, resources and cost reduction and so on. And I think it's ring a bell, because that a lot of companies are still structured in this way. Okay, someone is in the plane, I think. And what happened there is that our market changed. We started to have fierce competitions between players. And here you had 2 possible answers. The first one was, we want to reduce the price even more. We want to be more and more efficient because we can out efficiency our competitors. We can be more efficient than them and selling our product for a lower price, or for the same price but with lower cost. But actually, what we are seeing now is more a push in another aspect, which is innovation. The question is no longer what or how efficient we are. The question is, are we doing the right thing? The question moves from, are we efficiently building the Volkswagen Golf 3 or whatever? The question is, what do our customer really want in the car? What is important for them? They can customize it. They can pick every aspect of them. They want, like Tesla is doing, iterative iteration on the products. Each Tesla is different. The Teslas that you buy now today, for example, is the sum of all the innovations they are doing over time. So it's the best one to date. In 1 week, it's no longer the case because they did revision and you have new software on new parts. So you see that here we're having a very big shift from efficiency, resources, management process, methods, rules, a very big impact on control. We want to control costs. We want to control what our people are doing, to maybe another step, which is more, we want to try, we want to analyze, we want to understand, we want to reduce the complexity, we want to be agile. And I think this is giving us a startup answer. And when you combine that with what's happening nowadays, I think you start to have a feeling that you cannot really do stuff the way you were doing before. How can you create a 5 years plan when all of the stuff can happen? Coronavirus, war, Brexit, Hong Kong, Black Lives Matter, change on the environment laws, digitalization, all this kind of thing. Like, new things are happening continuously. The world is moving faster and faster. And if you do not change your culture, as we've seen, then you will not be able to move as fast as maybe your competition. And this is really what Agile is about. And for me, this is the most important aspect of what Agile is. It's very simple, one sentence, but then I will wrap up with everything we've seen and you will understand what I meant. Agile is a goal of adaptiveness. Adaptiveness is you want to minimize the cost of change. You want to minimize how much it will cost you to maybe move your office from Europe to UK or UK to Europe. You want to minimize the cost of change if you had your design office in Hong Kong, or if you are doing diesel engine. And because the world is getting crazier and crazier by the day, it's getting quicker. You have higher volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity. And basically all this together with the push that you have in the need for innovation is making it even so more important to minimize the cost of change. Because of this, you have to change more and more often. And that's why we start to see a lot of agility, need for agility in the way we do things. And if we move back to the top at the start of the presentation, we've seen a lot of different aspects like HR policies, structure, organization structure, the way you do leadership, and so on. And all of these are part of your organization. This is your structure, this is your system. And if you want to have an impact and really reduce the cost of change in your organization, you will have to address all the part of your system. This is what I have here. Agility is only rich when you optimize your organization for adaptiveness. We've seen organizations like Lidl optimize for price. We've seen organizations optimize for luxury, for safety, for user experience, all this kind of stuff. Here, it's really about adaptiveness. If you want to be agile, you will have to optimize every aspect of your organization for adaptiveness. You want to reduce the cost of change. And to do this, hopla, I want this one. Here you go. And to do this, to reduce the cost of change, you have to impact all of these aspects. And that's what made it so hard to define. So I hope next time that you hear, okay, what is agile? You can answer the question and saying, yeah, agile is the optimization goal of my organization. And that's why we are stopping stuff like multitasking. That's why we stop stuff like resource management, because we realize this is not helping us to reduce the cost of change. This is overhead. That's why we are using tools to do better strategic alignment with all of our employees and people together. That's why we are adapting our HR policies, because we don't want to reward behaviors that are not helping us to reduce the cost of change. The other part of it is, if your goal as an organization is not to reduce the cost of change, then maybe you should do something else as agile. Let's take an example. I worked for a big aviation company, a group, and there some part of it is doing military transport. You don't want to reduce the cost of change in this area. What you want is predictability. What you want is planability. What you want is that the know-how does not get leaked on some funny website. And to do that, you should adapt your structure to maximize safety, for example, or security, data security. So when you go back to your organization, or what I would be very happy today is if you go back to your organization and simply have a thought about it and think about, okay, what is the optimization goal of my organization? Is it to keep people busy? Is it to minimize the cost of change? Is it to build innovation? Am I a design lab? Am I a digitalization partner? Am I working with military? All this kind of aspect. And then when you got your organization goal, be consistent and be decisive. This is maybe the most important one. And we've seen it at the beginning of the presentation. And when people tell us we could not manage our agile transformation because of the culture and the mindset, that's because they are not being decisive. They are not really changing all of these aspects. They are not adapting HR policies, communication, or leadership. They are more likely starting a couple of Scrum teams to see how it goes. but they are not decisive. They're also not consistent. I've seen it many times. I got hired in big industry groups to come and bring Agile to the company. 3 months after, they shifted me to a PMO role because they didn't need Agile anymore. And that's basically what you don't want. If you want to optimize, it takes time. There is no finish line. There is no winners. You never win an Agile transformation. It goes on and on and on and on until you either did not survive or didn't make it, or you change your strategy and reducing the cost of change is no longer your priority. And then, of course, you should adapt. The only goal with agility is to survive change. And if you want to hear a bit more about this, you should have a look at this guy and this video. I write his name, Simon Sinek. He has very good literature. He wrote Start With Why, and his new book is The Infinite Game. And it will also give you insights on what I am here talking about with being decisive and consistent. So, what have we seen? We've seen that Agile is a goal. Yeah, man, you had all of them. Well done, all the books. So Agile is a goal. It's not a framework. This is not only a mindset or a culture. This is a goal that you want to achieve, and this goal is to reduce the cost of change. It's the adaptability of your organization. If this is your goal, then you should be decisive and consistent in changing the structure of your organization. And yeah, I really want to be crystal clear. If you go on and say, oh, I want to change the culture of my organization, but you do not touch the structure, you are bound to fail. 100%. Change the way the departments are done, the team are done, how the discussion, the decisions are taken, the way money is distributed, all these kind of things. Attack the system. And this is what I have here as a little call for action, because I think this will help you further down the line. Manage the system, not the people. Here, this is exactly what we've seen earlier. Structure, not culture. Manage the system. Change the rules of the game, and people will change the way they play the game. People will change the way they play the game. Okay, exactly. Okay. Thank you. I think I've done it in 40 minutes. Yeah, 45 minutes. And now I want to take time to answer your question, because I don't want it to be like a webinar or something like very one way. I think what's important is your questions and your thought about it. So I'll stop the screen share, the recording, and then we can maybe move to the question part.